January is the worst. You're back at school or work, it's cold, it's wet. I live in the UK, so I guess it's wetter. And overall, it just kind of sucks. So today, I thought I'd go through my list of games that just make me feel better. A little pick-me-up on the days that you need it. And if that's not enough, at the end of this video, I made a list of games that are coming out in the next 2 or so weeks to look forward to. Games which you can lie in bed, wrap up warm, and are perfect for this cold January season. So let's just get into it. First up is a game I've been playing tons of recently, and that's House Flipper. This has been my go-to in the last couple of weeks, and I'm honestly so shocked it took me this long to play it. Now, one of the reasons I love this game so much is it's just super chill. There's no dialogue, no cutscenes, not a lot to read either, so you can just put on a podcast, or if you're like me, shove on an episode of Grey's Anatomy and play to your heart's content. So if you've never heard of House Flipper before, it's a game where you take on jobs set by the local residents. This will see you clean, paint, install fixtures like heaters and sinks, and you even get to renovate the properties too. Not only do you paint the walls, you can choose the flooring, the tiles, and even for some of the jobs, get to pick out furniture. House Flipper starts off nice and slowly with just you, a mop, and a bin. But as you progress, you learn new skills that you eventually get to use when renovating your own home. I really love the way the levels are designed, as they give you enough direction that you know what to do, but also enough wriggle room that you can really get creative with the jobs you're given. And the game introduces you to the mechanics nice and slowly, so you never get overwhelmed, but you gradually get a little bit better at what you're doing. As much as I love this game, I will say it does run a lot better on the PC than the Switch. The controls on the Switch get a bit of getting used to, as you'd expect when you're using a controller for a sim-like game. There's just one thing to bear in mind if you're buying this on the Nintendo Switch instead of any other platform, and that's the DLC. House Flipper has a ton of DLC content, but none of it can be bought on the Nintendo Switch. You can't play it at all. So if it's a game you can envisage putting a lot of hours into and a lot of money for DLC packs, buy it somewhere other than the Switch. And although it doesn't look the best on the Nintendo Switch, it is still a great game to play in bed and one of my new favorites. Next is Return to Monkey Island. This is a point-and-click adventure game packed with tons of character and will definitely make you laugh on the days that you need it. Now, you don't need to have played any of the original Monkey Island games to enjoy this one, but you will definitely pick up on a few Easter eggs and references if you have. Like every point-and-click adventure game, there are plenty of puzzles. And thankfully, these are brilliantly designed, fun, but also challenging in a great way. And the game somehow makes it so nearly every single puzzle will make you laugh. Some of the puzzles can be a little bit obscure at points, but there is a hint book in the game, meaning that you never need to turn to Google when you're stuck. The thing I love about the hint system though is that it doesn't just give you the answer. Instead, it kind of nudges you one hint at a time towards the answer. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with walkthroughs that do just give you the answer, but this way you kind of feel like you're still thinking. It's just helping you along just a little bit. Return to Monkey Island is the perfect point-and-click game when you want to fully immerse yourself in the gameplay, as not only is the story a lot of fun, it's also fully voice acted, making it really hard to put down. And the story is also wholesome and funny, meaning it's the perfect pick-me-up for when you need it. Next is another game I only played recently, and that's Gris. This is my go-to at the moment when I want to just escape everything in reality and take my mind off of everything. And I actually first discovered this game on Apple Arcade. I'd say this is definitely more of an experience than just a game where you play as Gris and explore the world through sorrow. There's no cutscenes, no text, and best of all, no death, meaning that you're free to explore and help Gris navigate the world. And as Gris grows emotionally, so does her ability to navigate the world, unlocking new abilities and new paths to explore. But the thing that got me really hooked on Gris was the soundtrack. This truly brings each area you explore to life. Not only does this make the game impossible to put down, the soundtrack is incredibly beautiful. If the art style, the exploration, and the soundtrack isn't enough, Throughout this game, you will also encounter some small puzzles and platform areas, but the way they're done doesn't feel frustrating whatsoever, and this game is truly such a pleasure to be played. My favorite way to play this is when I'm lying in bed with my headphones in at night. The soundtrack just makes it the perfect way to fall asleep each evening, and I've been loving it so much. Next is a very different vibe of game, and that's Octodad. It's January, and sometimes you just need a laugh. And Octodad is guaranteed to make you snort at least once or twice. It's absolutely wacky in the best possible way, and you play as a dad trying to navigate the world as best as he can without blowing his cover, as he is in fact an octopus pretending to be a human. And although the story by itself is great fun, it's really truly the wild physics and wacky controls that mean even the simplest of levels are guaranteed chaos. Obviously in the best possible way. And although it's not a super long game or even the best looking game, it's a great go-to when all you need is a laugh. Next is another game I've been playing a ton of recently, and that's Dragon Quest Treasures. This was nothing like I expected it to be, and because of that reason, I ended up playing it way more than I thought I would. It took me by surprise, as it's actually surprisingly chill. There is a story to this game and plenty of cutscenes, but overall it's more a story about exploration and treasure hunting. Dragon Quest Treasures sees you play as a brother and sister, Eric and Mia, who after a series of events get to live their lifelong dream of traveling the land in search of treasure. And as they do so, they work to fix the main railway system that connects each of the islands they're at. But despite the story, the overall aim of the game is actually pretty simple. Run around and find treasure. That's it. There are, of course, other objectives to do to follow the story or side quests, but most of your time is spent following this little pin arrow pointing you to the closest treasure. And helping you along your journey is a crew of monsters which you handpick each and every time you set off. Each monster has unique abilities helping you on your journey, and also making you more or less likely to find treasure on your adventures. And once you're done running around or your treasure bag is full, you can return to your base to get each and every one of those items evaluated. One thing I loved about treasure hunting is not only were there different types of treasure, each treasure also had a condition. One thing I love about the treasure hunting system is not only do you want to collect each and every item, each item can be found in different conditions that affect its worth. Meaning that if you end up with two of the same items, it's not always a bad thing, as you might have found one that's in a better condition. Now there is some combat to be had, but the kind of cool thing is you don't have to be involved in it whatsoever if you don't want to be. Your monsters actually attack on their own, so as long as the enemy isn't a crazy high level, you can explore and leave the monsters to do the combat by themselves. Now, normally I would be slightly disappointed that a game isn't as narrative focused as I first thought it would be, but actually the gameplay loop itself is so much fun that I really didn't mind. And it's been my go-to game on the days where I don't really have the capacity to pay attention to long cutscenes. It's simple, but it's fun, and I've been having a great time with it. Next is Untitled Goose Game. Have you ever wanted to become a goose and mercilessly harass humans by honking at them and stealing their belongings? Because if you have, this is the game for you. This has to be one of the funniest puzzle games out there, and is a very unique take on the point and click. And I'd say it's like a unique take on the point and click genre. Each level has a set of objectives you need to complete to move on to the next level. And most of the objectives revolve around trolling humans repeatedly, be it taking or hiding their stuff, or just running at them honking. You will have a great time messing with each and every one of them. I think it's the perfect game for when you've been peopling too long. I know some of you know exactly what I mean. Some of the solutions to the levels, like all point and click games, are a little bit out there, so don't worry if you have to resort to going and looking through a walkthrough. I had to do it at least once or twice every single level, but the solutions are often a lot of fun, so I really didn't mind that I had to look them up before I did them. I would go as far as to say it's a must-have game if you love puzzle games or point-and-click adventure games. You're gonna have a great time, and you're gonna laugh a lot. Next up is a similarly wacky game, and that's What the Golf. This one is properly ridiculous, but in a wonderful, wonderful way, and is exactly what you need after a stressful day. You will never know what to expect with each and every level you play, but that's what makes this game beautiful. I can't even guarantee you that each level has a hole or a golf ball. That's how out there it is. But some days you just need a game like this to cheer you up. Alright, on to some games that are coming up in the next 2 weeks for you to look forward to and get you through the January blues. First up is Power Wash Simulator on January 31st. I don't know about you guys, but my TikTok For You page is almost exclusively carpet cleaning and power wash cleaning. And that's for one very good reason. It's so satisfying. Power Wash Sim lets you get all the satisfaction of doing it yourself with the added bonus of not needing to pay for a power washer or even go outside. It's a hard game to explain why it is so fun, but those who get it, get it. The game sees you take on different jobs in which you power wash different items. And not all of them are items you would typically power wash. When you complete a job, you get money, which you can then reinvest in your equipment to take on bigger and better jobs, and also make the jobs a lot easier. Each level does take a good amount of time. We're talking like 1 hour plus. So there's plenty of gameplay to be had. There's no music, no talking, allowing you to either embrace the calming white noise of the power wash, or to play as I intend to, watching Grey's Anatomy. Then we have Mika and the Witch's Mountain on February 1st. I'm gonna level with you here. I'm not entirely sure that it's coming February 1st. If you go on the Kickstarter page, that's what it says, but I haven't seen it written anywhere, including the Steam page. But fingers crossed it comes to the Switch the same time it comes to every other platform. Regardless of when it releases though, I am so excited as it looks adorable. You play as Mika, an aspiring witch who must journey to the top of the mountain to get answers to many of her questions on both life and magic. But in order to get to the top of the mountain, you're gonna need to work for it, as not just any old broom will get you there. So in order to save up and get the broom upgrades, you take up delivering packages for the local delivery company. But the packages need to be delivered both dry and unharmed for you to get a good rating. This allows you to slowly upgrade your broom and eventually make it to the top of the mountain whilst taking part in some wholesome and light-hearted story. This is definitely what I need in my life right now, and I really do truly hope that it's just over a week away. Then we have Cuddly Forest Friends on February 2nd. I basically just put this on the list as it looks cute, but I am kind of looking forward to it. It's described as being a heartwarming simulation game where you take care of 9 furry friends in the forest and help them reach their full potential. In order to do this, you must collect their happy feelings, which you get by feeding them, interacting with them, and also involves a bunch of mini games. Now in the description, it says you need to care for them daily. I'm not sure if that means in real life days or in game days, but I kind of hope it's in real life days, as then I have something to play each and every day to say hi to my furry friends, which kind of reminds me of Nintendogs, which I miss dearly. Also, complete side note, did you see the leaks that Nintendogs might be coming to our phones? I kind of hope it's true and that they give us a graphics upgrade, because I would love that so much. Next up, on the 14th of Feb, so a little while away, we have Blanc. I feel like I've been mentioning this game for ages, and I'm so happy it's finally here. This is looking to be both equal parts sad and breathtaking, as you play as either a fawn or a wolf cub who must work together to find their families after a snowstorm separated them. As you follow the footprints back to your family, each character will use their strengths together to overcome obstacles in their way. And seeing as you can play as 2 different characters, you can either play in couch co-op or online co-op, and it truly is the perfect cozy game for curling up on the settee and playing with a loved one. The game description also highlights how easy the controls are, meaning you might even be able to get non-gamers to give this a go too. Those are my top feel-good picks. But if you're looking for some free games to play on the Nintendo Switch, click this video here. I'll see you next time. Bye.